What is going on today, Pokepeeps? Bringing you some Kanto Cup battles this time. I tried out an Ice type that I've always wanted to try that needs some legacy moves, but before we talk about that, let's talk about the supporting Pokemon I use for that. So first up in these Kanto Cup matches, I have a Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff is super common in the Kanto Cup, being one of the few strong hitting fairy types. Charm, Ice Beam, Play Rough is a classic moveset. You can see mine is like very up there in the PvP IV range. Use Wigglytuff on just about anything that Charm can hit hard for neutral damage. It does okay against the Alolan Mucks, but Alolan Muck being a poison type means that the Sludge Wave will knock it out on one hit. I have to be careful of that. But other things like the Dragonairs cannot handle this Wigglytuff whatsoever. Next up, we have a Shadow Hypno. Now, normal Hypno is actually better according to PvPoke. It's like a higher rated Pokemon than Shadow Hypno, but Shadow Hypno is still not a bad Pokemon. I prefer using Shadow because it hits so much harder. Those confusions hit really hard. I'm running both Elemental Punches, Fire and Thunder Punch for the coverage. A lot of people will choose like one of the Elemental Punches and then Shadow Ball. I prefer having the coverage. It only takes 3 confusions to get to those charge moves, so you don't have to worry about like, will I ever get to the Shadow Ball? Because I'm running both punches. This is great against all those water types you're finding. Like, I see Blastoise every so often in the Kanto Cup now. Hypno was doing pretty okay with that with the Thunder Punch. What I really like though is that the confusions were hitting the poison types I was finding, like Venusaur, Victory Bell, Beedrill were quite common, and Hypno was taking care of those guys pretty easily. Last but not least, the Pokemon I've been wanting to try is a Dewgong. This Dewgong is almost 100% PvP IV, so I've been holding on to it. Maxed out right at 1500 for Great League, which is fantastic. But the problem with Dewgong is you're going to need those Legacy TMs on it. It needs a Fast Move Legacy TM for the Ice Shard and a Charge TM for that Icy Wind. You don't really want to run Dewgong without those moves, so they need the investment. But it's pretty well worth it. I love having Dewgong as a lead because the Icy Wind will debuff my opponent if I am not in the... Dewgong is super bulky, very strong Pokemon that will do some damage to the opponent's Pokemon no matter what it is usually. I was using him very good for like an Alolan Muck counter to get him ready for like a revenge KO by the Wigglytuffs. If they led with like a Shadow Dragonite, it was pretty much game over for them. They needed to switch out, which means I could lock them into Wigglytuff or Hypno. Overall, a very great lead for Kanto Cup. So let's get into these matches. Jumping right into this first match, we're up against a Sylvone 5G. Okay. They send out a Graveler. This is not a fantastic matchup for us. They will be doing super effective damage with those Volt Switches. I send out my Hypno just to be doing some great neutral damage with the confusions. So they're most likely running like Rock Blast or Discharge. Let's say we got... oh, Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt hits a little harder than Discharge, so that was like a personal choice for them. I'm going to be going for the neutral Fire Punch here. The Thunder Punch would have been not very effective. More neutral confusions. I might be lucky enough. Nope. I thought I was going to be able to get to that Fire Punch, but the Electro charges very quickly, and now I'm going to be hit with a Discharge. So my opponent is using 2 electric types right now. Not looking good for my Dewgong. So I'm either going to see the Graveler come back, or no, they also have a Shadow Hypno. So we're pretty much even Stevens here. I'm going to send out my Dewgong. I'm not sure if I'm going to shield here. Nope. I'm going to take this Thunder Punch. Without stab, it's not doing too much damage. Not like a fantastic amount. I'm going to overcharge a little bit. Now firing the Icy Wind. So am I going to get the shield? I do get the shield. Debuff would have went through, but they quickly switch out. Now I am trying to get to that Icy Wind. Yep, I am able to get to the Icy Wind before I am KO'd. So that's one of the disadvantages of Thunderbolt. It uses more energy than Discharge. And down I go. I still have my Wigglytuff here. I still have my 2 shields. I might still be able to take this depending on what my opponent's using. Rock Blast. So hopefully I'm able to charm down. Nope, Rock Blast doesn't take as much energy. So there goes my shield. but down goes their Graveler. So all they got left is that Hypno, but I have a fully charged Wigglytuff ready to play rough with this Hypno, and that should win me the game. So first match, even though Dewgong was at quite the disadvantage with the electric types, it was still able to help quite a bit with that Icy Wind. Second match up against a Tortilla Papa. Oh, I love that name. So they send out a Machamp. Not good again for our Dewgong because we are weak to fighting, so I'm sending out my Wigglytuff. My Hypno would have been a good choice as well, but it would have been just stuck with this Shadow Marowak, and you know, between Hypno and Wigglytuff being matched up to Marowak, I'm not entirely sure which I'd prefer. It's really almost up to you, because Wigglytuff's charms are going to be doing not very effective damage, but like none of Marowak's moves here are going to be doing like any damage to Wigglytuff because I resist the Ghost type. So normally it's Shadow Bone or Shadow Ball, which would be like very strong, don't do anything to Wigglytuff. Meanwhile, those moves would knock out my Hypno, but it would cost me shields, but the Confusions would be doing neutral damage. Alright, so I did make them have to spend the shield, but my Wigglytuff is KO'd. Luckily, I'm not worried about the Machamp because I still have my Hypno, so I send out the Dewgong to hopefully KO this Alolan Marowak. I almost want to say Shadow for some reason. So they did get that defense drop. I'm going to have to use a shield here if I want to keep holding on to my Marowak, and they actually shield baited me with a Bone Club. Very good move by my opponent. They might have been very close to another Shadow Bone. Anyway, I'm able to charge up to 2 Icy Winds, which is fantastic. I get the first shield, and now I'm going for my second Icy Wind. I'm going to get 2 debuffs on this Machamp, which is wonderful. They have no shields left, so they have to take that. I send out my Hypno hoping to get a quick Confusion, but they see through me and quickly switch into a Haunter. So Haunter has like a very quick charge move being Shadow Punch, but it doesn't matter, they give up. So far, we are 2 for 2 up against a Sunny this time. They send out an Alolan Sandslash. We are not making a lot of great matchup leads here. So each of us is at a disadvantage. We are both resisting our, Ice Shards? I'm using Ice Shard. Alolan Sandslash might know Powder Snow instead. So I gotta be wary of these neutral Bulldozes. See, they're not doing too much damage because the Sandslash doesn't have stab being Alolan, but it's still doing neutral damage, while all my moves are going to be doing not very effective damage. Yeah, so this is going to be a very slow-paced battle, because I'm going to be sitting here just trying to debuff it, making it like as weak as possible to easily revenge KO and not have to worry about like whatever I send out next. I'm going to go for some neutral damage with the Water Pulse, but this is still, I feel like, not going to do too much. Yeah, it does a little more than what the Bulldoze does to me. So I'm able to get to an Icy Wind, trying to get to that Water Pulse. They get to their next move first. This would have KO'd my Dewgong. I have a lot of energy though, so I'm like, maybe I should try and hold on to some of this energy, just firing an Icy Wind. Because maybe, just maybe, I can get to another Icy Wind and Icy Wind whatever they send out next. They decide to let their Sandslash get KO'd. I'm very close to this Icy Wind. It's an Alolan Golem, yikes. So I was very close to getting KO there before I got to the Icy Wind, but luckily I was able to get there just a second in time. Does a nice chunk of damage and get the attack debuff. Sending in my Wigglytuff to get some energy. Wigglytuff's hit very hard, so any energy is appreciated, because just about anything is going to want to shield a Wigglytuff play rough in the Kanto Cup. Down goes the Graveler. They still have 2 shields, but oh no, it's a Shadow Machamp. I send out my Hypno just to show them that they have no hope, and they see that too and quit. We are 3 for 3 up against a Suki Wookie Moti Moody. Okay. They send out a Dragonite. Finally, we have a lead where we are clearly at the advantage. 1 Ice Shard did a load of damage. They send out an Alolan Marowak. We don't hate this whatsoever because I could just Water Pulse this Alolan Marowak. So either I'm going to get the shield or I'm going to like nearly KO the Pokemon. Alright, they do not shield, and I do nearly KO the Alolan Marowak. So what's coming here is probably Shadow Bone. Yep, there it is. Do they get the defense drop? Nope. So yeah, it was very good that they did not shield that Water Pulse. I don't really mind Dewgong getting KO'd here. I am going to throw the shield up though. I'm going to get more energy because I know they don't want to send out that Dragonite. I'm going to be able to get a bunch more energy, firing an Icy Wind, hopefully getting the KO. There we go. And they send out a Shadow Snorlax. So Shadow Snorlax, normally I'm looking at like I don't want to be super powered, but once again, I don't really mind Dewgong getting KO'd. I do get that attack debuff on it though, make it a little easier for whoever comes out next. Sending out my Wigglytuff because it's going to be able to resist the Lick, it's going to be able to resist the superpower, being a fairy type. And, you know, they're probably not going to want to send Dragonite out into Wigglytuff, especially a Shadow Dragonite. Alright, so they're unloading all their energy into my Wigglytuff. Will they even get KO? Nope, getting fairly close. Now I'm just going to be able to charm this Dragonite down while completely resisting the Dragon Breaths. They do not even get to see my Shadow Hypno. Oh, maybe they do. No, I shield. I don't even let them see what I have in the bag. Down goes the Dragonite. What a great couple of matches here. 4 for 4. Last match of the set up against Sakyoi Roshi. Oh my goodness. They send out a Mew. Can we get a 5 for 5 set? Let's go. So yeah, Mew's almost always packing a Wild Charge, but this one's not running Shadow Claw as the fast move, it's running Thunder Shock. So it could be like a pseudo electric type where they're running Thunder Shock and Wild Charge, and yes they are. I took the risk here. The Wild Charge did not KO me. If that was an electric type Pokemon using Wild Charge, it probably would have. I do get a shield off my opponent though, so that's very good. These Ice Shards are doing quite a bit of damage. My opponent is either tying with me or is actually like counting, and if they are counting, they are very knowledgeable. So they're running the classic Wild Flame Charge, but they just are running a different fast move than usual with the Thunder Shock. Yeah, usually see the Shadow Claw. I get the last shield off of them. They are very debuffed. I try to take advantage of that and switch into Wigglytuff, but they now switch into Hypno. So Hypno, I'm not super worried about with Wigglytuff. They commonly run Shadow Ball. If they try to hit me with that, I'm going to resist it. Fire Punch doing a nice little chunk of neutral damage. Once again, not too worried about it. Going into the Play Rough, this is definitely going to KO. Unfortunately, my phone screen did not know I was touching it, so I didn't get that fully charged Play Rough. I'm able to fire one more Charm, and they have a Marowak in the bag. So this is actually pretty yikes. Like, I would have loved to have been able to match my Dewgong up to this, but now I have to match up my Hypno. Ooh, man, if I could only charge up to that Water Pulse in time, but my opponent knows what's up, and they just gain energy out of my Dewgong. I have to shield this in case it's a Shadow Bone. My opponent, very, very knowledgeable opponent here. I am just putty in his hands. They shield baited me with that Bone Club. Now they're going to go into a Shadow Bone. This is not looking good whatsoever. Do not get the defense drop. I'm like, can I at least get to a Thunder Punch? Nope. That was a very, very charged up Marowak. Maybe if I sent out the Hypno instead of the Dewgong, I would have had a shot here. So, they bring out the Mew. You might be thinking, Curly, why didn't you, like, you know, just hit him with Confusions and charge up some more? Yeah, Mews charge really quickly. It's even like, I know Thunder Shock isn't normally run on Mew, but it's still a move that gives a lot of energy. I'm sure they would have gotten a charge move before I would have been able to Confusion them down. So my opponent takes the win there. Still, we got a 4 out of 5 set, which is pretty fantastic. Our encounter is a Galvantula. I'm not going to complain about a Galvantula encounter. Galvantula has always been a pretty good mon for PvP since Lunge came out. And now in the next season, Cross Poison is getting a buff, so we might see even more Galvantulas. But yeah, Dewgong for the Kanto Cup, pretty good mon. Even when I was at a disadvantage against those two different electric types, it was not a bad Pokemon to be using. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited for the next season to start up, where we are going to be working our way back up the Legend, getting that new Karina pose. I'll be using more meta Pokemon. Like, for the past couple of PvP videos, I've kind of just been experimenting with non-meta Pokemon, seeing what they can and can't do. Now that we are going back into a new season where rating and rank matter, it's time to be trying out some meta Pokemon again. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to some more PvP videos where we're rising up the ranks, hopefully pretty quickly. Go check out my Twitch channel. twitch.tv/TheRangerCurly if you are interested in watching me rise up the ranks live. As always, trainers, happy hunting.